Hey guys, NanMan here with another Modern Meta Breakdown video. Hope you guys have been enjoying the series so far. We've kind of been hopping around showing lots of different decks. I know there's been some requests for some more fringe stuff, some more competitive stuff, so we're trying to rotate around because there's so many decks in Modern, so many things to talk about. Last week we did talk about Merfolk and kind of the mono blue style, if you will. There is of course the other different stuff, so if you guys want to hear more about that, check out that video over on youtube.com/nanman, or of course just check out this video. There'll probably links to it and all that kind of good stuff there. We've got of course a playlist set up now because this is week 6 or 7. We've been going for a little while now, so consistently every single week we've been going through and putting up a video for you guys. This week we're going to be talking about lands in Modern. Yes, that's right. So one of our buddies at our shop has actually our season 1 champion of the Invitational for Modern Magic Mondays, was a big fan of this deck, and when he pilots it, the variant that it is now, he calls it lands because a big focus is about the land. So you might be sitting here, what deck would be called lands in Modern, or who would call this deck lands in Modern? Well, it's known as Amulet Titan, and it was known by another name for a little while, and we're going to talk briefly about that before we get into the actual deck. So a little bit of Magic history for the Modern scene for all of you guys out there. Boom, here it is right there, our card, Summer Bloom. So Summer Bloom is banned in Modern for good reason, because of this deck. A sorcery that only costs 2 mana to play up to 3 additional lands this turn. You might think, that doesn't seem too scary. Well, if you also have Amulet of Vigor, it becomes a little bit scary because you're going to be sitting there and using your bounce lands that were printed in original Ravnica block that tap for 2 mana, but they enter the battlefield tapped, and you have to return a land when they enter the battlefield. So you can say, alright, I'm going to play this land, Simic Growth Chamber, for example, tapped for a blue and a green, and I've got my Amulet of Vigor out, so I'm going to have my land enter untapped, and I will float 2 mana and choose to bounce it back to my hand, or bounce another land back to my hand. Then I will use that and play Summer Bloom and be able to bounce certain amount of lands, generate a lot more mana, sit there and float and stuff like that, to be able to cast a Primeval Titan. And of course it's got the landfall, or it's got enter the battlefield ability to generate 2 lands. Also works when you attack. So you sit there and you go, alright, Primeval Titan, sweet, and the battlefield, I'll find a particular land to give him haste. Cool. Vigilance, +2 attack, if you will. Then I'll find a second land while I'm attacking to be able to give him double strike and just kill people really quickly. Like, the deck did explosive and crazy things to the point where they go, whoa, 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 whoa. You guys are killing people with crazy hands. You're doing crazy stuff right now, generating so much mana that this deck is really good. And it put up good results. I mean, the Milwaukee scene, if you will, the players like Justin Cohn and Sam Black were like, this deck is bonkers. It needs to be out of the format for Modern. So we're going to play this, and we're going to show you how crazy this deck is, and all these different lines of plays that you can do, and just how explosive and powerful it is until it gets banned. And that's essentially what they did. They went around at GPs and larger events like that, and they'd be like, alright, here I'm going to mulligan down and keep a no land hand essentially, and still be able to kill you on turn 3 with crazy Amulet and Summer Bloom plays. And like, they could do crazy stuff. I mean, I don't have all the footage and stuff like that, but you guys look up some Summer Bloom games from some early GPs and you'll just go, wow, I'm so glad that I'm not playing Modern where Summer Bloom is so legal. So after the banning, the deck fell off for a while, had not been seen until, you know, over this last year or so, a little bit around then. We've seen some tweaks, some changes, people experimenting with different things. How might this work? So I wanted to show you guys at least 2 lists. There are a couple other ones running around, some variants on how you need to go about things, but for the most part, it's pretty much consistent on what you're going to be seeing. There is a replacement now since we don't get Summer Bloom. It's a little bit slower, but still is a powerful deck. A little bit more ways to interact with it and deal with it. So let's pull up one of our lists here. And yes, we need to start with Sam Black because, you know, he was one of the people that was like, yeah, this deck needs to get gone. Let's get rid of it. But our Sakura Tribe Scout, Snake Shaman, or Naga as they're now called because they don't want Snake Shamans. I don't know. It's from Kamigawa block here. You can see it's just a 1/1, and tap him. You can put a land card from your hand into play. So not as powerful as Summer Bloom, being able to play 3 lands a turn, but you know, does have that ramp ability. Easily able to get a lot of mana on board. And you see there's 28 lands in this list. In Modern, you're most of the time we're not seeing 28 lands, but hey, this deck is all about the land. So we'll go over those in a bit, but I wanted to spend some time talking about the creature base first. So Sakura Tribe Scout will be now a playset in every Amulet Titan list. It's A+, you need him in there. He's great. Azusa Lost But Seeking was in the original Summer Bloom. Basically, you just get 2 extra land drops there, essentially 3 a turn, and you know that is pretty nice. Costs 3 mana, 1/2, legendary. Can't have both on the battlefield at the same time, kind of thing. But extra land drops is also a plus for this deck. So opting for those. Playset of Primeval Titans, Corpse. That's the big way to win with this deck. So we are running, of course, full playset there. Now you can choose to run the Simian Spirit Guides. That is something that Sam has decided to go for. Does get a little bit of burst with it, a little bit of speed. You can be able to go, well, turn 1 I have a tap land, and you know, no way to really get this amulet out, but I have a Simian Spirit Guide, so I'll exile that, play my amulet, then I can start doing some stuff with my lands and stuff like that. So there are those aspects that you can think of here. The Tireless Tracker, again, is a choice, not something that's like more of a flex spot that you can go for if you want to opt for that route, because you are making a lot of land drops, generating clues, help get you some card advantage. This guy can become pretty big whenever you're sacking clues. So just another way to be like, well, hey, here's a threat. I don't have to just go all in now. That sort of thing. Just card advantage is nice overall. So he is opting for this. And the other addition that Sam is running creature-wise, which I'm a big fan of for this list, because you generate a lot of mana, and if you go, well, okay, my Primeval Titan hasn't killed you, but I was able to swing in and do a good 10, 12 damage with him, you know, cool. Now I just get a Walking Ballista that I've generated all this mana off of, and just ping you off and deal a bunch of damage to you there. Cool. Sweet. Another good way to win. So that's the object of this deck, essentially. Get a Primeval Titan now, swing in, deal a lot of damage with him. And the way you can do that is with your lands. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. There was another kind of win con with it, Hive Mind. Not all the lists are continuing to do the Hive Mind package. Some still like it and go, yeah, it's just an extra one to have in there, and I usually side it out, you know, if need be, kind of thing. So that's your choice, because you can do that. You notice that there are a lot of packs in the board, and we'll talk about those in a little bit here. So Amulet of Vigor, again, a playset needs to be in this list if you are running it. And a great way for players to disrupt this deck is to have some artifact hate against this. Get rid of it, destroy it, get it out of there so they can't generate all this mana very quickly and just kind of explode. Engineer Explosives, speaking of exploding there, great little removal there, help keep stuff alive until you get the mana you need. Wipe the board clean too, and then be all set up to swing in and kill people with your Primeval Titan. So we've got our packs. Let's talk a little bit about those. One Pact of Negation in there. Sometimes you'll see others if they are running Hive Mind. Just a nice little protection in here. You can easily pay the upkeep cost for it, the pack triggers, if you will, not to die, because of the amount of mana that you generate. So keep that in mind. And that has been how some people have lost with this deck. Originally, a Summer Bloom list and Amulet Titan are very complicated. There's a lot of lines of play for it, and they're not for beginners by any means. They are complicated decks to pilot with the pack triggers that you have to remember, the way to remember all your mana generators and stuff like that, and how to tap and do things like that. You can see Atticus is here, came to visit. So there are those difficult aspects to the deck to keep in mind. But playset of Summoner's Pact is another one that you're going to see in every single list. It is an instant, so hey, you can dispel that if you want. But it's basically reads, find target Primeval Titan and add it to your hand. Cost 0, so you're like, well, I don't have to worry too much about, losing right now. It's easy to generate 4 mana, especially if Primeval Titan gets you 4 lands. Put it in the battlefield, get the trigger, give him haste, attack, that sort of stuff. So there is that aspect to it. Alright, 4 Ancient Stirrings, 4 Explorers here. These are basically our land grabbers. Ancient Stirrings also could find an Amulet of Vigor if need be. So there are those different ways to look at it here. But Explore, don't get Summer Bloom anymore because, it's pretty strong. So we got our 2 mana, add just 1 extra land this turn. But you do get to draw a card off it. Again, we're talking about that card advantage here. So let's talk the lands because that is a big part of the deck. 28 lands in the list. You see only 3 forests. That's it. Only basics you need, essentially. It's a toolbox land deck, which is the weirdest thing to think of. When you think of like a toolbox deck, you think of something like Abzant Company, Kiki Core. That's a toolbox around creatures. I'll find this creature, it'll have this use, it'll be great. Well, this is got the way with certain lands too. So we've got our Bajuka Bog here. If you're having to deal with graveyards, you can exile all those cards from target players. Graveyard generates black mana. Not as important, but the exiling is the important part. We've got our Cavern of Souls in here. Hey, if I'm playing against control, guess what? I can't get rid of my Primeval Titan here. Let's see. Slayer's Stronghold here. Here's our target creature gets +2/+0 vigilance and haste until the end of turn. So the way that you get your Primeval Titan and you can swing that first turn, because once you get your Slayer's Stronghold, you just need 2 mana to be able to start swinging and generating more. Sunhome, Fortress of the Legion. So again, our Slayer's Stronghold, Sunhome of Legion, Boros-centric. Just need those kind of red and white. For this one, it does cost 4 though. So there is that aspect that you will need those land drops to be able to help you out, generate extra mana. Target creature gains double strike until the end of the turn. And so that's why you can win in a single turn with Primeval Titan. If they've tapped out their creatures or swinging in at you, don't have a blocker back, hey, alright, I'm going to basically deal 16 damage to you in a turn. So get ready. He's a 6/6, gets +2 from Slayer's Stronghold, becomes an 8, and then double strike that to 16. In Modern, people have fetched, they shocked, Thoughtseize. There's ways that they've taken damage up until this point. So there is that to keep in mind. We've got our Teleria West here. Enters battlefield tap. Okay, that's fine. Generated blue mana. Alright, whatever. Really, this is a bounce effect. Can play it, have it be bounced back. We're mainly focused on transmuting it though, because you do get to find yourself. Oh, there we go. Teleria West. You do get to find yourself. I'm clicking the wrong stuff now. Got all discombobulated here. There we go. All right. You do get to find yourself your packs, because it says search your library for a card with confirmed mana cost 0, reveal it, and put it into your hand. You can sit there and go, all right, well, I'm going to find the land. I'm going to find my Summoner's Pact. I'm going to find my Pact of Negation, and I'll be set up nicely. So you do have that aspect to think of. And here's one of our other utility lands here. Vesuva enters the battlefield. You basically copy a land. Which is nice. It comes into play tap, but hey, remember, all these tap lands, Amulet of Vigor just says, no, they enter untapped. So keep that in mind, guys. But this can sit here and become basically one of your other original Ravnica bounce lands to help you pay for things like Sunhome, help you pay for Slayer Stronghold. Or, hey, you know what? I'm going to make a second Slayer Stronghold here, generate the extra mana that I needed for it, and I'm actually going to swing in for 20 damage this turn. There are those routes that you can be able to go for. So some of our lands that we've got, besides that, that are utility lands here, Radiant Fountain, gain some life off it, sweet, cool, makes a lot of sense. Also just taps for a mana, but it does have that enter battlefield, gain 2 life, and if you're playing a land and returning land to your hand, that means you could be able to gain quite a bit of life off of this every time you play it. A Kalani Garden here makes a plant token, 0/1 plant token. So just, hey, generate dudes again. That aspect, same thing as Radiant Fountain. I'm going to play this a couple of times, bounce it, get extra stuff off it. So there is that aspect. Now, you see a lot of tap lands amongst our lands that we have here, and we'll talk a little bit about the bounce lands in a second. In order to play your Amulet on turn 1, you're going to need some lands that do not enter tapped. So, of course, we talked about our 3 forest in here. We've got our Cavern of Souls, stuff like that, but you also have Gemstone Mines. 3 mining counters on it. Remove it, add a mana of any color to your mana pool. Once there are no mining counters on it, you sack it. But that should never happen with this deck, because again, you simply bounce it, return it to your hand, play it again, kind of thing. So those are your ways to be able to play stuff on those early turns. It does run the 3 forests over any other color because you want to be throwing down the Amulet, you want to be throwing down Ancient Stirrings, you want to be throwing down Secure Tribe Scout on those first couple of turns there. So our bounce lands, Botanical Sanctum, I almost forgot about that. That is the new addition that players are starting to run in here. The blue-green fast land. So, nice addition here, 2 of them in there. But our fast lands themselves, or I mean our bounce lands, we've got a Boros Garrison. Not that many, even though you do need a red and a white, of course, for Sunhome and Slayer Stronghold. There's other ways to kind of generate that mana that you need. But all of your creatures, most of your spells are going to be green, so you are going to have to be focused more on that. We've got our Gruul Turf. Again, here's another way to generate red, and we also need that green, so that's very important. You see 3 in that sort of slot here. Simic Growth Chamber, a full play set of that, blue and green, nice. And of course, Selesnya Sanctuary. Again, another way to generate white off of it for your Sunhold, your Slayer Stronghold. The Vesuva also can pull double duty if you need specific colors for that, so keep that in mind when you're building the deck. Now, there are ways you can do some tweakings to land bases and how you want to run it, but you need more green, as you can see, amongst all of the bounce lands that are in here. So let's talk briefly about the sideboard before we show you guys the second deck in here. So again, another Engineer Explosive, needs some removal here. It's going to have basically other big stuff, removal, and protection is kind of how the sideboard is set up. So we've got some removal with Engineer Explosive, and oh, there's the smoke alarm. Alright, so other removal that we've got is Bonfire. Miracle cost, basically can wipe the board if need be if you're going against a go wide strategy, and also can pull double duty to deal damage to your opponent, make it a little bit easier for your prime time to come in there and sit there and do one swing, kill them. So protection, I guess you can also utility land, Ghost Quarter is also in there, but protection, Swan Song, counter target spell, they get a bird, cool. Nature's Claim here, also kind of protection / removal, destroy an artifact, destroy an enchantment, gain some 4 life off of it, get rid of something pesky. Seal of Primordium, Leyline of Sanctity, sweet. You see 3, don't want to get hated out, don't want to have my stuff get taken from my hand with those Thoughtseize, those Inquisitions, don't want to get burned down to death, so we're going to rock that out. Does run some creatures here. You see more low to the ground, 2 Tireless Tracker, some more life gain available. Again, some discard strategy. Obstinate Baloth is nice. And then our big guy, Ornate Queen. Another way to kind of protect against the go wide strategies, because you are generating 4 death touch insects. So, some hornets, if you will. So there is that other aspect for Stan Black's list. So let's slide over real quick and see another list, very similar to this. Of course, this one, of course, was able to get 2nd place at an invitational qualifier here. And we talked about, all right, playset of the Tribe Scout, playset of Prime Time. This one is running 3 Azusa. You see no hangerbacks, no, walking ballistas, nothing like that in here. Oh no. Alright. Sorry. It's not really a fire, guys. My wife's being amazing and cooking dinner, but for whatever reason, the smoke detector was going off. So, sorry, I keep pausing it. But, back into it. Let's get back into it. So we talked about Azusa. We've also got our Dragon Lord Dramoka. So this is kind of another, hey, I want another big dumb dude to ramp into. But it's a nice double duty thing. Keep me alive. I got flying, I've got lifelink, and your opponent can't cast spells during your turn. So when you're like going off, all right, cool, I'm gonna find what I need, play my Prime Time, go that route. So besides the Sakura Tribe Scout, he's also trying out his Sky Shroud Ranger. It's a 1/1, basically just like a Tribe Scout. Play land from your turn. Sorry, put a land in play from your hand. Play this only as a sorcery. So Tribe Scout lets you do it during your opponent's turn. This one, you can do it during your turn only. So just that aspect of creature-wise. The lands you can see are pretty much the same across the board here. Couple less forests, the Botanical Sanctum. We've got the Cavern of Souls. Is opting for a Crumbly Visage here. Because when it's a battlefield, you just generate a mana off it. So that's why he's trying for that. And you can just tap for a colorless here. So Gemstone, we got the Ghost Quarter in there. Of course, get a plant, gain some life. Our Slayer Stronghold, Sumhome, Telir West, Vesuva. And it is running an Academy Runes. So this, again, having the utility lands, feeling that Amulet might die, there could be something going on, maybe I need to get my engineered explosives back, just some extra ways that you can help stay in the game a little bit longer. So you see this list does run a few more spells, and so again, playset of Amulet of Vigor, a playset of Summoner's Pact. We do see, of course, Ancient Stirrings in here, Pact Negation, Slaughter Pact in here, because it is running that Hive Mind aspect. So we brushed over Hive Mind when we were talking about Sam Black's list because he did not have it in there. So let's sit here and talk a little bit about it. Cost 6, shouldn't be too hard if all of your lands are tapping for 2 mana, right? You just need 3 lands essentially and you got this. Whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery spell, each other player copies that spell. Each of those players may choose new targets for his or her copy. So let's say I'm playing against Infect, okay? And I have Hive Mind down. They can pay for Pact of Negation. They can pay for Summoner's Pact if it's gone really late and they've got the mana out. Okay. But they can't play for Slaughter Pact. They have no way to generate swamps in their list. No way to generate black mana. So you sit there and go, alright, cool. Hive Mind, Slaughter Pact, destroy your creature. And now there's Thunder. Man, this is not the day to be making a video. Both of you have to cast a Slaughter Pact. I'm going to cast this, targeting that. Cool. You have to make a copy. Cool. You're going to destroy that non-black creature. Awesome. And then I'm going to pass turn. Oh, Pact trigger? You can't pay? You die. And you do that too, essentially going, okay, well, I know I'll use my Ghost Quarter to destroy your green. Your way to generate 2 green now. If you're only at 1 green, you're going to go find another basic that you have. Maybe you don't have another forest in your deck. And now you sit there and go, well, okay, Pact Trigger, I can't pay the 4 mana that I need, or maybe Pact of Negation, it's 5 mana, I can't pay the double blue for it, or, oh no, it's 5 mana, I only have 4 lands. Well, GG, I guess you win off of Hive Mind there. So it's a definitely a weird strategy, because it's not something that you go into a game sitting there thinking, well, I need to worry about me dying to a pack that's not in my deck. No, that it is something that you do have to worry about if you sit down against a Titan player nowadays, and before too. It was just kind of those things. For the most part, you see it only has one Hive Mind, so that is not going to be their 100% go-to strategy. It is going to be more of a, well, hey, if I got it, I got it. Otherwise, I'm going to beat you down with my big Titan. So get ready for that. This list also running a singleton Batterskull. So opting more for the lifelink, the vigilance, feeling like that's more important here. And if you think you play a Primetime, you've given him vigilance and haste and stuff like that, +2 attack, cool. Well, I only need, 5 mana to equip this onto that guy. Maybe I decide not to swing in with my Primetime this turn. Maybe I'll just equip Batterskull and swing in next turn and just kill him outright. So different ways you can go about it. So sideboard here, Lantern, hey, your lands can tap for any mana that you want, essentially. Does have the Walking Ballista in the board, the Hornet Queen in the board, Baloth in the board. Again, more focused on getting some life. Has an extra Thragtusk in there. 2 ley lines, 2 seals, a Kozilek's Return. There's the board wipe aspect of it. Some protection again, Swan Songs. Rukthar, another big guy that you could be able to play here. And if a player casts a non-creature spell, deal 6 damage to that player. So that is nice. Of course, he does have Vigilance and Reach. So there is that aspect. Another board wipe with Pyroclasm and a Bojuka Bog in the board. So opting, hey, I'll have the Cavern or the Ghost Core to the main, Bojuka in the side kind of thing. Different from Sam's list. But again, tier your lists, your sideboards towards the meta that you're facing. So this has been kind of 2 versions of the Amulet Titan lists that are running around right now that you can expect to see. You can see now kind of to just go straight up Titan, ignore the Hive Mind aspect, and just kind of beat you down, kill you in 1 turn, kill you in 2 turns kind of thing. Or, hey, I'm going to kill you with a Primetime, but I also have this backup, this plan B, to be able to kill you with the Hive Mind and stuff like that. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry about the break in between here, the stop talking for a brief minute as the smoke alarm goes off, as thunder starts rumbling in the background. I guess it's good that I just got the video in now before things get too crazy over in the House of Cats. But thanks so much for tuning in and watching all of the Modern Meta videos, guys. I really appreciate the support. You guys have been talking about all these different lists that you're running, and wanting to see different lists. And we will be highlighting almost every single list in Modern if we keep going the way that we're going. Try to rotate around, showcase maybe some really competitive decks that people are playing that you're going to guarantee see. Maybe some not as popular lists, but still strong. And just kind of bounce around, see different kind of lists. There's still so many more to talk about. I've been holding off talking about Infect because that's my go-to. We've posted up some videos about Infect, like post-Gitaxian banning and stuff like that, already on the channel if you guys want to look at it and see some of the discussions that have cropped up around there, because there was quite a few people that enjoyed talking about that and enjoyed that discussion. So we did have that going on there. But let me know what decks you're playing right now. Let me know what decks you'd like to see talked about next. And if you guys have not seen, Modern Magic Mondays is in season number 5 right now, so you guys can head over to that YouTube channel, head over to the Twitch, and check out our weekly Modern coverage that we do. But that's going to do it for us tonight here for Modern Meta Breakdown. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys, and I'll see you all next game.